Traveling soon? Let's get you started. Your first step is to create a travel request. This will provide details to a campus approver for your department so that expenses incurred by your travel can eventually be expensed to a cost center for reimbursement. Once approved and you've completed your travel, you'll need to submit an expense report that is based on this travel request. But we can get to that later. Let's dig into the details. Some things you'll need to complete this process are dates of travel, destination and trip region, projected expenses, and cost center. Your projected expenses will include items such as airfare, rental car costs, conference fees, and estimated meal expenses. If you're not sure how to find your trip region for the system, there's a separate quick guide on that. You'll need to include the name and justification for your chosen hotel as well in the comments section of the travel request. A few tools and tips that will help you in this process are to use the calendar icon to choose your start and end dates. The system is picky about the format for dates, so this is easiest. Time is entered in military time. In Employee Self-Service, click on My Trips and Expenses and you'll see this screen. Here you'll see an overview of trips previously entered, or you can start a new travel request or expense report. Let's walk through creating a new travel request by clicking on the Create New Travel Request button. The area at the top is your roadmap for completing this process. All fields marked with a red asterisk are required fields, including start and end date, destination fields, activity, and reason. For the start and end dates, we recommend you use the calendar icon to populate the dates for formatting purposes. The start and end times are to be entered in military time. Here's a quick conversion chart. If you need, you can pause this video here to jot down the start and end times that apply to your travel. The posting date defaults to the trip end date. Select the trip country from the drop-down list. USA will be the default. Use the search feature to find your trip region or enter it manually. For further help with finding your region, watch the Trip Region Quick Guide video. But here's some basics to get you started. By clicking on the icon here, you'll be directed to the Trip Region search screen. Trip Country/Group represents the country name. This defaults to the US for domestic travel. Country/Group Region represents the state name for domestic travel. Use the state abbreviation, which must be in all caps, followed by an asterisk. For example, PA*. Name of trip country represents the name of the city or county if traveling to a small town. Use the appropriate name, which is case sensitive, followed by an asterisk. For better, quicker search outcomes, use the full name of the city or county. For example, Pittsburgh with a capital P, followed by an asterisk. Once information is entered, click on the Go button in the upper right-hand corner. Make your selection by choosing the radio button in the list and you'll be returned to the main screen. Next, you'll want to enter the required destination field. Type in your city, state, and country. At this point, if you have additional destinations in your travel, click the Enter Additional Destinations button. The additional destination data initially defaults from the main destination. You'll need to change the date, time, destination, and reason fields. You may also need to change the trip country and region fields as well. Click on Accept to record your new entries. If everything looks correct, click on Accept at the bottom of the screen to return to the main screen. Choose an activity that indicates the purpose of the travel from the drop-down list. In the Reason field, enter the name of the conference, training, meeting, etc. Be sure to include the name and justification for your chosen hotel in the comments section. Next, click on Enter Estimated Costs. Here you'll populate the appropriate expense type category. Important: estimate your expenses as close as possible to your actual expenses, but be sure your estimates are enough to cover them adequately. Otherwise, you'll need an extra approval step for your expense report, and that could delay your payment. If you rented a car or are using your personal vehicle with Enterprise Rate, do not enter mileage expense. If you are renting a car, enter that in car rental. If using your personal vehicle with Enterprise Rate, enter that in the other expense type. In both cases, attach the Trip Optimizer. The system will automatically estimate the cost for lodging and meals based on your trip duration and region. You can override these amounts if necessary. You can't have an amount less than 1 cent in these categories. Click the Calculate button, then click on the Save Draft button. The Advances section is not used. The travel card is used in lieu of any advances to employees. Finally, the cost assignment will default from your HR master data. If you wish to override the default, click on Change Cost Assignment. Options are available to search for a cost center, including searching for previously used cost centers. Once you've entered the appropriate cost assignment information, click on Accept to return to the General Data screen. Note the cost centers can only be split by percentage. If the distribution does not total 100%, the portion not distributed will be charged according to your HR master data. If the cost center needed is not listed, you can type in the known cost center number as well. At this point, you can click on either Save a Draft or Save and Send for approval. Click on the appropriate radio button and then either of the two Save buttons on this screen. This button will change based on the radio button that is selected. The travel assistant will need to save draft and notify the traveler that their expense report is ready for them to review, and save and send for approval. To do this, the traveler would go into the module, highlight the request, click on the Change button, review the information entered, and click on number 3 on the dashboard, Review and Send, then click on Save and Send for Approval button. A trip number will be created the first time a trip is saved. The trip number should be referenced to Enterprise if calling to reserve a rental vehicle. If a travel assistant is helping you with this process, they can only save draft, but this will still create the trip number. If a travel assistant creates and saves the request, they must verbally tell the traveler to go into the module and save and send for approval. The trip must be saved and sent for approval by the traveler to start the approval process. You'll see this acknowledgement that the travel request was saved and a trip number will be given. You have the option to display or print the request form. Please note the workflow approval log does not appear on the form until the travel request is saved. Once the first approver approves the request, you will see who has approved and who still needs to. This trip will now be listed on the My Trips and Expenses screen. Have a great trip! While traveling, keep your receipts for uploading in your expense report when you return. Also track your meals and mileage if you'll be reporting that for the reimbursement. Please refer to the full travel module training manual for additional details and guidance. Still can't find your answer? Reach out to the Accounts Payable team at 724-738-2210 or travel@sru.edu.